Hello, friends, and welcome to the Stampin' Squad. I'm Cheryl, and I'm so glad that you're here today. In case you didn't know, here in the Stampin' Squad, we are a community of friends, and we're learning how to value and appreciate ourselves and others, and also the creative spirit that is in each and every one of us. So, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here today. Let me show you the pieces that we're going to use to make this card. This card is so easy. You can use whatever stamps, ink, paper, cardstock, embellishments, all the things. Whatever you have, everyone can make this card. Everyone can make this card. So if you're new to paper crafting, you're gonna love this. And it's a fun fold. I don't know if I said that, but it is a fun fold, which makes it extra special. So let me just go over the bits that we've got here we're working with today. This is a piece of cardstock. This one is Balmy Blue, and it is 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Just a singular piece of cardstock. Here's another piece of cardstock, also the Balmy Blue. It is 2 1/4 inches wide, and it is 8 1/2 inches long. And then I've already scored this. I scored it right in the middle. So it's 8 1/2 inches long. I scored it at 4 1/4 inches. All right, what else have we got here? We've got a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 2 inches by 4 inches. Then I have a piece of designer series paper. This is 2 inches by 4 1/4 inches. I have 2 more pieces of designer series paper. These are 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches. And 2 more little strips. These are 1/2 inch wide and 4 1/4 inches long. So if you've got a stash of strips and scraps of your designer series paper, this is a great way to put them to use. Let's see, what shall we do first? I think I'm just going to start with these 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now, this paper is retired, so making the point of you can use whatever you have on hand to make this card. And let me see, what was the name of this paper? Some of you probably recognize it. It was called Rain or Shine. Rain or Shine. I think we had this paper last spring. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to adhere these strips to my cardstock. And I think I left my glue open, so it's kind of stopped up. Let me fix that. Okay, now we're going. Here we go. Oops. So I'm just gonna put some glue on the back of this. And I'm gonna make sure my raindrops are falling downward. That's a good way to start. We don't want rain falling upward. That doesn't make sense. All right, so this, you'll notice, there's no margin. I am adhering this so it's all the way up against the edge of this cardstock on the side and at the top and bottom. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece of designer series paper. I felt like pulling this paper out because we've been having rain here. It seemed like a good time to use it. I live in Southern California, so honestly, the times when I can use this paper, at least for people who live in my area, is pretty limited. Remember that song, It Never Rains in Southern California? Well, it does rain some, but not a lot. So I'm just moving this around a little bit to get it right to the edge. And there we go. Okay. I think I'm going to work with this strip now. I told you it was scored at 4 1/4 inches. So I'm just going to fold it over. I'm going to grab my, I'm going to grab my bone folder and get a good crease here. There we go. And this is going to go on the front. I'm not going to put it on there yet, We will do that in just a minute. I am going to adhere this piece of designer series paper. And I don't know if you can see or if you remember, this paper kind of is shiny. So the raindrops on there have kind of a sheen to them. So it's very pretty. All right, now this piece is going to go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom, but there is going to be a little bit of space on each side. So we're just putting that in place, pressing to make sure that it does adhere well. Okay. And I will just set that aside. Actually, I'm going to put the inside. Why not? We're working with it, might as well. This is going to go on the inside, so I am going to go ahead and adhere this down. There is a little bit of a margin around each edge of this. You'll see when I put it in here. So there's a little space where we can see the balmy blue along each side and along the bottom and the top right as we get close to that fold. Pressing that into place. Then I am going to also, I'm not stamping in here, and actually when I got ready to do the video, I realized I'm not stamping at all on this card. So you can certainly stamp, and I'll show you some other examples. Oh yes, I wanted to mention that. Make sure you look at the end of the video, all right, that you see what I show you. I'm going to bring out some other ones with some alternatives, all right, with some other ideas that you can incorporate into this card. This I just fussy cut out of the paper. These cute little daisies, and I'm just going to adhere them right here, the bottom of my white cardstock. There we go. And those will just go right here. Perfect. All right, now let's go ahead and put this on here. Now I want to center it. So there's some options here. You can just eyeball it. I know some of you are really good at that. You can just look at it and say, that's the center, and you can adhere it down. I'm not always that great. My eyesight is not always what I wish it were. So what you can do, I measured this, and I know that to center this, one edge needs to be at 1 5/8 from this side, and then 1 5/8 from that side. All right, so let me get my lead down here a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's 1 5/8. So I'm just going to put a little tick mark here, and that's going to be covered up, so you don't have to worry about that showing. Then I'm going to do the same over here. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So that's right about there. Okay. Now I can take this, and when I adhere it, I'm just going to put it right there at those tick marks. So let's do that. I designed this card to be used at our mystery stamping event in February, which was last week. We did this last week. So every month I do host on Zoom a mystery stamping event, and it is fun. It's a favorite of many of the people who are in our Stampin' Up! Community. It's always so fun. So if that's something you're interested in, send me an email and let me know, and I can give you some more details about that. All right, we've got that adhered down now. So I'm going to take these last 2 strips, and I'm going to put them right up against the flap. So 1 here and 1 here, just like that. All right. Put a little glue on this one. And this pattern is really non-directional, so I don't have to worry about what's right side up or upside down. So I'm just pushing that right up against the edge of that cardstock. Let's do the same thing over here. So let me know in the comments if you're going to make this. This one, like I said, it is super easy. And if you've got, like me, a big stash of Designer Series paper, this is a great way to put it to use. And get those cards made and sent out. All right, there we have it so far. You like it? You like it? I love this. I think it's so cute. All right. I punched out one of the images from the Designer Series paper. Here's the page I used. So I just took my paper snips and cut this out, and then I used the hexagon punch to punch out this cute little dog. He's so fun. He's gonna go on the front. I would also like to have a little layer behind him, and so I dug out this glimmer paper. I don't know how that's showing up for you on the video, but it is balmy blue. It's a balmy blue glimmer paper. You know, every time Stampin' Up! Offers glimmer paper, it doesn't matter what color it is, I always buy it, and I put it in my stash. Because you never know, right? I mean, you never know what color you might need and when you want to use some glimmer paper. So I like having that on hand. I like to have that as a choice. All right. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to use my paper snips and just cut it in half. And this is a great trick for layering if you haven't seen this before. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right here. And then put it down right there. So it's going to create on the left and right edges this little accent frame, if you will. Now I'm just taking a look here to make sure I've got it centered. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to adhere this piece, and it just gives a little extra sparkle to the card. Why not, right? Why not have a little extra sparkle? All right, so let me lay this down right here and see if I can get that straight and reasonably the same amount showing on each edge. Whoops, and I just knocked it out of place. Let's put it back where it belongs. And I slipped it over, so let's try again. Hold on. I'm gonna get there eventually. There, that looks pretty good. It keeps wanting to slide a little bit because the glimmer paper needs a moment to have the glue dry and really adhere itself to this. So let me see. Yes, it looks like that's, and I'm just going to use my bone folder here. I'm going to hold it in place, but I'm really going to press these down to make sure that glue really gets spread in there and that stays adhered. All right, this sweet little guy is going to go right here on the front, and I think I'm going to pop him up with some dimensionals. So I'll grab those. And here we go. Cheryl is going wild with the dimensionals. That's normal. That's normal. You know that's the way it works if you watch me. And I'm going to put one in the middle, right there. Okay. Let's get the back off of these. I am a dimensionals addict. That is for certain. Okay, got them all off. Now, Let's put this darling little guy on here. See if I can get him centered. That looks about right. Okay. And there we have it. Look at this fun card. I love it. I love it so much. He's adorable. He's adorable. And so there you go. You can write your message in here. This is a standard size card, so it fits in our normal medium envelopes. And I'm not even going to add any embellishments or anything else. I think the glimmer paper on this is just right. I think that's enough for this card. So you may choose something else, but that's what I'm going to stick with for now. Let me just put him over to the side and show you another one that I made with the same designer series paper. This one has the little turtle, and I used some different pieces of paper on this one because this one's more accentuating. There's a little bit of rain here, but it's really accentuating spring and flowers. The inside I did stamp this one and then colored it with my blends. So we've got a couple like that. Then I've got another one. I used some retired designer series paper. Pull out what you have, and made this one. Retired stamps. I believe that's a retired punch. Everything. Sometimes, especially with mystery stamping, I just like to pull all of my old favorites out. Okay, let's talk about something a little bit different. So here's one. This paper, I think it's called Softly Stippled. It's actually part of Celebration, and we've just got, oh my goodness, maybe another week left of Celebration. We are in February of 2024. So this paper is available. You can earn it for free with your purchase. And then again, I found some glimmer paper. This is Lost Lagoon. I used the hexagon punch again, but this time I have it on the horizontal instead of vertical. And this stamp is from Heartfelt Hexagon. You can get it with in a bundle with the punch if you'd like. There we go. And these really pretty little sprigs, I guess, in the wild wheat that's in this paper. Okay, so I said this is a little bit different. So what I was thinking was that sometimes maybe you want to write a longer message than what this would allow. So on this one, I just put a piece of white cardstock on the back and added a couple of strips of designer series paper so you have more room. So you want to write a longer message, you have more to say. So this is a good option with the same card. Now, I've got one more that is different still. This one, I used this same retired designer series paper, and this stamp is from, let me look and make sure. I believe this is from a Celebration. Yes, it's from the Heartfelt Hellos stamp set. This is part of Celebration, so this is only available until the end of this month, the end of February. But thinking of you this Easter, so I used that. I used my hexagon punch again. And then this one, it opens like this, just like the other ones. But instead of this just being a single piece of cardstock, I actually did all the design on a regular card. Okay, so this is our normal card base that opens up. Put a piece of basic white cardstock in here, a little bit of designer series paper. So it's more like a regular card. So that's a couple of options for you if you need more space to write, or you want something a little heftier, more like a regular card. That's a great option. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you'll make 1,000,000 of these and get them in the mail to all of your friends. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments below. There are links down there you want to check out. Be sure and subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell so you will know every time I put a video out here. Thank you so much. So glad to have you in the squad, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.